Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 1. I'm not necessarily going to review all the episodes, but I did want to do this one to start off with to give you an idea of how I think the season might be going. But as always, I'm going to leave the good, the bad, and the furry. So far with the furry, there isn't any. Moving on to the good and the bad. With this, I will say that it's looking like an okay season. Not as good as Season 2, but I mean, nothing can be worse than Season 1, right? Right? Crossing fingers. I appreciate that they're trying to get the gang all back together again, but I don't appreciate how they're executing that. So in this, it starts off where he's getting all nostalgic about the painting that's, I think, from the Enterprise D. I don't think it made it to the E, but regardless. And he's like, oh, pack it up and send it to Geordi. See, I mentioned a name you guys knew. Haha, and explaining why he isn't here. Because he's working at the museum for whatever reason. I mean, I guess he did have the, passion for, there's a statue of you right over there type of thing, but whatever. So he's explained to his girlfriend, they're like, no, I'm just getting rid of all my past stuff because you see, we're together. And she's like, dude, you don't have to get rid of all of your past mementos to prove to me that you're moving on. Be right back. And then he gets a call on his old, like Enterprise D communicator that for some reason he has in a nearby box. I don't know about you, but I don't have shit from like 30 years ago chilling wherever. I mean, it's not a great example in my case, but you get the idea. Things from a long ass, like, whatever. Sure, he has this communicator right nearby. It's an advanced technology, so sure, it still has batteries and is always receiving a signal. Whatever, fine. But he gets it from Beverly Crusher, who's like, don't trust the Federation. So what does he do? He goes to Riker, who's, in the Federation. But whatever. And then they're like, hey, we need to commandeer a vessel. Let's go after your old ship, the Titan, and do that. When they could have just been like, hey, Will Riker is still in command of the Titan. But no, they want to make everything difficult. But I get that there's not like money per se, but there should be a way for them to charter a civilian flight in that general direction, get a small shuttle that they can leave from the civilian flight to go where they need to, or buy in whatever way they need to a spacecraft that will get them there. Like, why do they need to go through this whole bullshit of like, oh, let's pretend that we're inspecting and just make them change their direction and blah blah blah. Like, it's just unnecessary filler, it seems like. But whatever. What I did like was that they had the little models of this Enterprise D. Did it make sense to have like a 30-year-old ship? I don't know. Maybe it's maybe I'm just thinking of like the gift shops near, naval bases or whatever. But in my opinion, like, I don't know why they would have those. But I swear that they were the Eagle Moss models. They looked just like the Eagle Moss models, so it wouldn't surprise me if they were just using those. Which is kind of sad because I'm pretty sure Eagle Moss went bankrupt, which is weird. Anywho, so also people love the Enterprise D, and it has some amazing capabilities. I know I like the look of the E better, but the D did some damage. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, the other thing is that I'm kind of unclear as to what this time frame is, because in Season 2, I mean, maybe I'm just misremembering some of the weird timeline manipulation stuff, but 7 of 9 was not in Starfleet. So somehow in what our world is a year, I don't know how many years is supposed to have passed there, but she's already a commander. I'm not sure if her third pip was actually filled in or if it was the black one yet, but like, I don't know how she made it that far, or if they were just like, well, you've served so many years on Voyager, plus all your other things, so we're going to give you a commission to this. But we just don't really see that in Starfleet all that much. But, it's a new interpretation of Starfleet, so maybe they're taking into account her other activities to give her the rank of commander. I don't know, or maybe I'm just forgetting the very end of Voyager. But regardless, they're like, oh, she's on a ship with a captain who still thinks of him as Locutus. And it felt like that was going to go somewhere. Now I'm not so sure. But it felt like maybe he had lost somebody on, Wolf 359, like how Cisco did. But maybe he's just an asshole. I don't know. It's just a lot of unnecessary drama, I think, that's just preventing when they could have gone into it. And speaking of weird, unnecessary drama, so the chick from just the Picard series, who's not like a nostalgia bait from the other ones, she's in this one, and she's clearly doing some undercover work, and like, it's so frustrating when they're just talking to the audience, because they're like, oh, remember how she used to be addicted to drugs, and now she's here, and she's like, she's jonesing, and she's trading whatever credits for to get her fix. sure, I guess you could think that we'll believe that, but whatever. But when you really try and just talk to the viewer, where she's like, oh, I lost my girl, had one for a while, but I lost her, and I had a kid, and lost that too, and just, I lost a lot of things in my life when things were going really well, you know? You remember how well they were going in season 2? Yeah, it's not going so well anymore for me, right? Right? Yeah. And, like, the guy that she's confessing all this shit to would be like, the fuck you talking about? Like, I didn't, no, whatever, didn't make any sense. I didn't believe it for a second. It was clearly like, I'm just speaking to the audience. Remember how that stuff happened? See? But, like, obviously she's just doing undercover work, which she was, shocking nobody. I thought that the building portal gun was pretty interesting. I thought they did good CGI on that. But, yeah, and I'm not going to rewatch Star Trek Generations because it was not my favorite Star Trek film. But in Star Trek Generations, or maybe it was just maybe it was even like Star Trek the Motion Picture, which I'm definitely not going to fucking watch again because Jesus Christ, that movie was slow as shit. But like one of the Kirk movies, they make a big deal about how he's like old and busted, and like he's like, oh, but shouldn't we warn engineering that we're going to be doing whatever? And it seems like they were just trying to make references to like old Kirk being old and how they do things new and better on the ship because, you know, they had Picard be like, oh, shouldn't you let engineering know we're going to be going to warp 9.99? And she's like, bro, it's all automatic now. No, we don't need to do that anymore. Like, it just seemed an unnecessary thing to be like, hey, see, Jean-Luc is old now. Ha ha, he's all old and doesn't understand things as much. And then like, oh, he says Deep Space 4, and that's been closed down for years now. I meant Deep Space 11, obviously. Ha ha ha. Like, we get it. Like, Sir Patrick Stewart is older than he was. Cool, but you don't have to just keep on harping on that. He seemed fairly capable in the past season, so it seems like unnecessary. Like, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it in the Kirk movies when they were like, oh, look at them and look at all those people, they're old, haha. And in this one, it's just like, oh, look, they're old. Like, okay, cool, but Liam Neeson is old and he's still kicking ass. Like, we don't have. There's a route that you could go, and you're not going the right route, in my opinion. So hopefully they stop at that. But like him being all like, oh, LaForge, the ensign, you crashed a shuttle. Remember they called you like Crash LaForge or whatever. Like, okay, why don't you just pinch her cheek while you're at it? Like, ugh. I hope that they bring actual Geordi. I like that they said that Geordi finally found the right love of his life and had a kid. Hope they're still together. But that just it was a lot of unnecessariness. So I do hope that they bring actual LaForge back and I guess save Crusher. Like I get that the end of the episode reveal like, oh, she has a kid. Like, cool, she's had like 2 other kids. Who cares? Like Picard has had a kid. Like, I don't know. This just whatever. They're trying to solve a mystery. I'll withhold judgment. Hopefully the season gets better as time goes on. I'd be interested to see other people from the Enterprise D crew make their appearances, but hopefully in a less clunky way. So that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.